Welcome. You must have clicked on this video because you want to learn more N8N. You're probably just started, and let me tell you, this is the best place for you to start your N8N automation AI journey. Trust me. Essentially, today we're going to go over 3 triggers that, in my opinion, have most value and every beginner should know about them. And on top of that, we will look at a bonus trigger at the end of the video, so stay tuned. Okay, very quickly, when you open your first workflow, when you create your first workflow, you're going to have a huge plus sign right in the middle. Because I've already made the workflows and triggers in this space, you're not going to be able to see the big plus sign on my screen. But quickly, you can either press right click, add note, and go down to triggers and have all your triggers on there, or you can be a bit quicker, press tab, add another trigger, and look at the trigger list right in front of your eyes. So let's get into it. So the first form, which I think is very important to know as a beginner, is on-form submission. Quite self-explanatory. It's a form. And what you're trying to do is you are trying to have this form live, and you can have it live. So quickly, you can activate and deactivate your elements by pressing D or selecting them, right clicking them, and then saying, where the hell is the activation button? Deactivate or selecting it again and activating it. On the top right of the screen, as you can see through me. You can see that there's a switch. So every time you complete your workflow, you're going to be able to activate your workflow. That means it will go live. And if it goes live, all you have to do is test it. But if it doesn't go live, there's a reason to it, because something is not working or something is incorrect. Therefore, N8N will not allow you to activate your workflows if there's an error. So right now we've got our workflow activated. So let's go onto our node. So in our node, first thing we can see is test and production URL. So production URL is very important, because what it is essentially is when you activate your workflow, your production URL becomes your main URL, and anything that is available on the form will only be open to people who have production URL. So essentially, test URL, you have your form deactivated. Production URL, you have your form activated. Same goes for workflow itself. So if the workflow is turned off, it's not available through production URL, it's only available through test URL. If workflow is live, it's only available through production URL. And as an example, we can go in here. This is the form itself. Bang, we've got the fields on here already. So let's go through actual options that we have on the form. So this is authentication, quite self-explanatory. Title of the form. So YouTube form N8N. So this is going to be a title. You can also just put your mouth on little question mark sign that will show a little explanation of what that field might be. Description of the form, made for testing. Quite easy. So elements of the form. So an element, we can have any elements that you want, essentially. And elements are initially something that people need to fill in. So I can have a name on there, and I can change it to surname. And this element type is text. Most of the things on forms are text anyway. Placeholder, which is simple text to display inside the field. It's like a shadow text there. We can have something saying type something here, type something here, and it will appear as a shadow text for that specific field. So this tick, also quite self-explanatory, required field. Without completing this field, the form will not be submitted, or you won't be able to continue. So phone number, yes. Field name, checkbox. So checkbox is just another example of what form submissions can do. So for example, checkbox, and you can have a checkbox labeled, are you watching YouTube? Question mark. Yes. Other thing that is very cool. So down here, you can have a optional additional things for the form. And one of it being custom form styling. So if I delete that and you go down here and you can add or create custom form styling, what it is essentially is a HTML and CSS code. So what you can do with that is, as you can see, our form is styled and made by N8N, but we can change that to our likings. So you select the whole code, which is HTML and CSS. Go into ChatGPT, copy and paste the code, and say, make it look cool. We got the code back for our form like that, quickly and easy. So we select all of this code, we can delete it, paste it in, close this, save it, which is very important. You should save it, which is on top right down here. And then we restart the form, and you can see that the form is completely different. It looks different. And all of the other things that you want your form to do are essentially in options. And in terms of styling, you can always come back to your custom form styling and change it around. It's quite important for branding, it's quite important for business. I think you do understand that. Lastly, what we can have as an example is we can have our form connected to the workflow that we made, well, I made for this video. This is a very simple one, which is your form is live. Someone completes it. It can be on your website. It can be on your link. You can send it to your client directly. But initially, your form collects the data from your client, say, AI agent. Essentially, you set up your AI agent with a solution for a problem that your client has. And then following that, your AI agent can literally send you the solution for that problem, or you can have your form and solutions being sent through your email directly to the client. Essentially, this is what automation is, and this is why you should embrace artificial intelligence, embrace chatbots, embrace AI agents and automations, especially with the tools that you have in N8N. This is going to be life-changing for you. Two, the webhook trigger. So in simple words, a webhook trigger listens for data from outside apps or services. Basically, anytime something happens out there, your N8N workflow can spring into action straight away. So how would you think about this is when you get a payment or someone follows you, subscribes to your YouTube channel, or someone does something on your website, you can flow straight into automation pipeline using the webhook triggers. If you want applications to talk to one another, the webhook is something that is used and will be used in the future and can be used right now to integrate, pass, essentially do a lot of things. A lot of things. It's a very powerful tool. If you go into the webhook, you will have different methods. So HTTP methods. I won't go into all of them today, but most of the most important ones are get and post. And before we get into everything else, we need to actually see that there's two URLs as well as in forms trigger. So the test and production, same as in forms. Production, when your workflow is activated, production URL is actually live, and when your workflow is deactivated, your test URL is live. So the path is something that you copy and paste into your application, website, your YouTube channel, etc. So it basically refers to this webhook. Authentication. So you don't really need any authentication when you're just starting to build something. But if your service or your website or something that you're doing requires security lines, I'd say security layers, that's what you kind of need to go into. And responsiveness is essentially how quick your webhook is going to respond. And most of the time, most people want it to be an immediate one, but for different purposes or different strategies, you can set it to streaming using response hook as a node, one last node finishes, and etc. But most of the time, you will have it on the immediately. Webhook gets the data about something happening. Then your AI agent collects that data, makes it readable, or analyzes it. And after analyzing it, it sends that data to you via Gmail. So there's plenty examples of how webhook works. But just for this video, we're just going to use the simplest example we have. And essentially, this is webhooks. Now, number 3, chat trigger. So the chat trigger is quite cool. It's self-explanatory. Essentially, you can have a floating chat on your website that would maintain all information about your product, your service, your business, and you can have a 24/7 working agent that would have all the necessary information and would then support customers about their products, about the products that they want to purchase, about the service that you offer. All information about the products, all information about the service can be asked through this chat. Additionally, as an example, if someone, say, messages or puts a specific word in Discord or in Slack, the chat can respond to that immediately. So we can have it responding to keywords. We can have it serving on your website as a chatbot. There's a lot of things that you can do with this, and it is very powerful. Essentially, I mean, especially if you're gonna create the right workflow for it. So, and what do I mean by right workflow? You can connect PDF files to it, and you can have it running as a RAG agent. You can have it running as a support agent. You can have it running as a sales agent. Very important, very cool, and very helpful. But double click on here. You start with this make chat publicly available switch. You switch it on because you want it to be publicly available. Chat URL, same as form. We switch on our workflow. We go into our chat trigger, and you copy the chat URL. You paste it into there, and there's our chat. Cool. So, authentication, up to you if you need to. Hosted. So, chat is hosted by N8N. You can embed it into, say, your system, but I wouldn't suggest doing that because it actually takes some time to set up. But anyway, it's up to you. Options, a lot of things that you can add as an options. And something I love about forms is the same for the chat node, for the chat trigger, sorry, custom styling. So you can copy that. Same. You copy and paste the HTML and CSS into ChatGPT. You ask it to style it as you want to. So ChatGPT finished creating our code or editing our code. We go back to our chat trigger. We select all of the code that was in here before. We copy and paste new code. We save it, and we go back to the page, and bam. Although it didn't do a great job here, but it looks better. It does definitely look better. You can type things into here. You can, as you can see, it actually says hello to you, and it says what name it has. But that was essentially pre-built on the initial message. And you can customize that as well, which is very cool. Instead of that, we can have my name is Val. Save that. Reload this, and my name is Val. And you can have, so instead of it being my name, you can have representation of your business or your character that represents your business, maybe some made-up name for a chatbot, and etc. to have it a bit more dynamic. This is essentially what you can do with the chat trigger. Very cool. Okay, so very simple workflow again. We've got our chat trigger connected to our AI agent, which has OpenAI model and a simple memory of 5 context windows. And essentially what we can have here is asking chatbot to be friendly, useful, and imagine it helps clients find products they need or information they need about your business, maybe a location, maybe what you offer as a service. Very useful. Can be integrated on your Discord, on your channels, can be integrated onto your website, can be customized, can be hosted on N8N, and yeah, give it a try. So, end of the video, bonus trigger. You press tab or you right click to add a node, and you go into add another trigger. And on here we've got on app event, which is essentially a combination of apps or websites or social medias, where you can take or you can find what you are essentially working with the most, and you can integrate that specific application to be the trigger for your workflow. It can be Figma or something to do with Google Drive or something to do with PayPal, and so on and etc. And then you can start integrating it with the AI agents. You can continue it into limits to limit the information. You can have a human in the loop to check the information, and then you can have Gmail to send a message about that information to you. And essentially all of that through a very little node, a very little trigger called on-app event. I've also got a Skull community. If you're interested in creating websites, maybe learning more about automation, N8N, or artificial intelligence, it will be down in the link in the description. It's currently free because I've just made it. And I think in the future, we will be asking people to pay for it. But right now, you can literally go into the community, join it, learn some things, speak to me, and yeah, I will see you there, hopefully. Okay, this is it for the video. I hope that you liked it. I hope that you've learned something. I hope you can embrace and use these things, this knowledge, essentially either in your personal life or in your business or for some cool university/college projects. This is gonna go very far. And if you liked the video and you found it useful, please follow, subscribe, like the video, leave a comment. But if not, maybe put a dislike and put a comment what should be done better and what should be done differently. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.